gotta say, I knew this moment was coming. I really did. I think most of us saw this coming, but for some reason there was probably a little bit of denial or like maybe some hope that it wouldn't actually get to this point. The FBI, the tippity top in the United States for intelligence agency, has officially deemed the border between Canada and America as a terrorist state. That's right. The border between Canada and America is officially deemed a state of terrorism because there are so many terrorists, I kid you not, that are coming into Canada and going into America with this unprotected border that the FBI has actually classified the physical border as a terrorist state. I can't believe this is happening. This is how bad Canada is. I don't understand. It makes me feel crazy when I'm seeing objectively what's happening. And then you go talk to some liberals and they're like, no, Canada's great. At least we don't have school shootings. At least we have universal health care. Oh, at least we have better gun laws. Like, it's a weird level of delusion where, okay, yeah, sure, maybe those things exist in your mind, but also affordability is insane. The price of a standard single family home is like $750,000, and we've been deemed a terrorist state by the United States FBI. So yeah, if that's not a big wake up call, I don't know what is. So we're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to be taking a look at the fact that you've got so many liberal MPs that they're just leaving. They're gone. That's it. They don't want to be a part of Mark Carney's, his whole charade anymore, I suppose. I can't blame them. So there's a lot to take a look at in this video, and I do hope you stick around for the full thing. And all I ask, folks, is for you guys to take the time right now to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, here we go. We're going to start off with the fact that CBC is acknowledging that Liberal MPs are starting to resign. Like, a lot of them, not just a couple. It's like a real big thing, enough for there to be a lot of questions to be asked. Let's take a look at what CBC, this panel, has to say about it.
Drama that, the minority government's in peril and we're going to have an election. But, mistakes can happen in minority governments. Just want to show why this is not the sort of thing a majority government could have just turned around and done rapid fire.
Bring back the Cadman cam, David. We have to have that camera on. Who's
Countdown
staying?
Clocks, the confidence votes.
Yeah. Look, I think I largely agree with what Amanda says. It makes those MPs that are in this discussion, including Chrystia Freeland, they needed them to win seats just to make sure that they could. Mark Carney didn't have a ton of time to recruit other people. So what really is going to be interesting for me is now that he's been prime minister, he still is more popular than not. His party is still leading in the polls. People have a sense of his management style. Will he be able to recruit people that he wants? Because I think for him, success is going to be determined by getting like-minded individuals in those various ridings. All of the ridings, perhaps maybe Wilkinson's, but the rest of them are pretty safe Liberal ridings.
Wilkinson's probably
which should be. Yeah. So who can he go? Who can he get? Who can he recruit? I mean, the Conservatives are going to use this, as Pierre Poilievre did yesterday, to say they're all running away from the big deficit, and that's what opposition parties say. But this is more about a time of transition. And lo and behold, if you're, with the exception of Steve McKinnon and Dominic LeBlanc, who I think he values very much in cabinet, and Melanie Joly as well, to be fair, if you're a former Grand Cham minister, watch out, because the
Trudeau
bus
minister.
Trudeau minister. Yeah, I'm dating myself. A Trudeau minister, the bus might be coming for you, because he really does want a new face in government, because you do see in opposition daily the Conservatives saying same old government, same old thing. It's easier for the Prime Minister to push back and say no if these long-established Trudeau-era ministers are not around.
Well,
so that's kind of what we're seeing right now. There is some truth to that last bit where you have, all of these MPs that weren't Trudeau, all of them that stayed in, they ran in the election, they got the votes, they got in, and now they're all saying that they're going to resign because they want to clean house, right? They want a whole new set of people, a whole new faces, with the exception of maybe one or two people. Like Dominic LeBlanc is probably going to stay on for a little bit. Like, just a couple Liberals are going to be on that were from the Trudeau era, the main faces. And You're seeing it happen. I mean, I called this like over a year, probably 2 years ago. I said if Trudeau's Liberals really want to save face, they have to just do a whole sweep and clean out everybody. Everybody from the Trudeau era eventually has to go, and they have to bring in new faces and new branding. And it turns out that that's what they're doing. Whoops. I don't know if they listened to me, but it turns out that that is what they're doing. And it's probably going to start helping them in the long run, which obviously is not favorable, right? If I had it my way, we would have had a conservative majority government. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this does play out. But if there is an early election, keep in mind, all of those MPs that are resigning, they're going to drop out, and new Liberals are going to run and take their place. And so we could very well see a whole revamp of the Liberal cabinet of the Trudeau era people gone in the next couple of years. Because just historically speaking, in Canada, when you win an election with a minority government, there's usually a follow-up election between like 18 and 24 months. That's just like a historical fact. So we're going to have to see how this does continue. But in terms of moving away from the state of Carney's cabinet and the Liberals, we got to take a look at the state of Canada, because it just got really bad this morning. As of this morning, as of like an hour ago, you have the FBI director, Kash Patel, says that the northern border with Canada is a new terrorism threat, right? This is right from the Washington Times. That's kind of scary, folks. That's kind of scary that part of Canada has actually literally been deemed by the FBI as a terrorism threat with America. FBI Director Kash Patel told Congress on Wednesday that the southern border has been largely secured, with the threat shifting to the larger and less protected northern boundary, and could let terrorists sneak in. The enemy has adapted, Mr. Patel told the House Judiciary Committee. We need more focus on the northern border to stop known or suspected terrorists from coming in places like China, Russia, Middle East, Africa, and Afghanistan. His comments come after years of concern over the southern border and growing numbers of terrorism suspects, those whose names appear on the FBI's terrorism screening data set, usually called the terrorism watch list. Mr. Patel, the FBI director, said that the northern border is more troubling because of its expansive geography and the ability of adversaries to adapt. We've encountered almost zero at the southern border since the southern border has been sealed. But the northern border, as we know, is just vast, rugged land where it's actually not that difficult to cross illegally. Like, you'd have to go through a little bit of nature to do it, but at certain points, it's literally open. Like, there's no cameras in the forest. There's no security guards, right? Like, you can just quite literally do it. People don't do it. The majority of people don't. But if you have bad intentions, it's very much being exploited. And as we're finding out from the FBI, it's a problem, which is a little bit alarming, right? From May to July, the Border Patrol tallied 37 arrests of people on the terrorism watch list. So not just they caught 37 people, 37 people have been caught who were on the terrorist watch list, like bad people. So how many people are actually going through illegally this border and sneaking through that aren't on the watch list, that are just your everyday person who may or may not have bad intentions, just maybe didn't get on the watch list? This is wild. That's a large increase from the rate at the end of the Biden administration and the start of president's second term. Oh my goodness. At the southern border, the number of terror watch lists went from fewer than 10 months ago at the beginning of the year to more than 500 a month from May to July. Experts said the change is due to the administration's decision to add major Mexican cartel to the list of foreign terrorist organizations. So this is a little crazy, because when we think of terrorists, we don't really think of Canada, right? Like, I know we kind of joke about it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, like there's actually like terrorists that like come into our country. Like, what? That's crazy. And to the average person walking down the street with their head down, texting as they cross, using their peripherals to go down the street, drinking their $6 Starbucks, you go and tell them, hey man, did you know like there's actual terrorists living in Canada? They'd be like, nah, not really. Canada's like a pretty elitist country. Like we're good, right? We're not America. We don't have like bad people living here, right? Like we're a pretty good country. Turns out that we're not, though. We're an actual hub for terrorists. They're sneaking into Canada with our lax immigration policies, with our abused temporary foreign worker program, with our weak asylum claim restrictions or lack thereof, right? You could be a terrorist crawling out of a cave, Osama bin Laden's right-hand person, his uncle, his cousin, and you could say, I want to come to Canada. I am gay. I'm homosexual. And Canada would say, absolutely. Here you go. Welcome. Here's the pride flag. Like that's how Canada's kind of been working. We have a whole bunch of loopholes. It's being very much exploited. And that's our problem. That's on us. It's not on you. It's not on me. It's on our liberal government. It's on our policies. It's on our politicians. It's on just how Canada functions, right? It sucks because chances are if you're watching this, you voted for the correct group to fix this. Yet here we are in a what seems to be unfixable situation. But it's getting so bad that these Osama bin Laden types are coming into Canada going, let me into Canada. I am homosexual. Oh, yes, here you go. Here's your pride flag. And then they come into Canada. They don't attend pride. They don't contribute positively to Canada. Their goal is to go into America illegally. Imagine that. Imagine. It sounds crazy, but it's true. The FB freaking I themselves are saying that this is what's going on. So that's a bit of a problem. And you could see if you were, America first, if maybe you are American, if you can put yourself in a position of being super patriotic of your country, which I know is a little hard to be with Canada because we all want our borders to be tightened up, right? But imagine if that was going the other way. Imagine if terrorists were coming in through America, sneaking into Canada. I don't know why they would do that, but imagine if that were the case. It's probably not the best example because there's literally no incentives other than just like free money. And well, yeah, okay, maybe it is happening. But obviously Canada doesn't really care about it that much, but America does. And that's the point of this. And that's why you're seeing Trump and the administration crack down on Canada. And our liberal government, our liberal media wants you to think that there's nothing wrong. No. Canada's great. Come on. We have like Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal. We can't be a bad place. Look at us. CN Tower. Woohoo. We like hockey and we put our elbows up. They try to distract you with all these slogans, even though they accuse the conservatives of slogans. They try to distract you with the fact that we don't have school shootings. We got universal health care. Canada must be significantly better than America, right? Wrong. Canada's not better than America. Canada is very much suffering. And Carney's entire shtick has been he's uniting all of the premiers. All of the provinces are now one. They've all united, right? Canada first, because our biggest threat is not terrorists. It's not our lax immigration. It's not our housing crisis. It's not our drugs and fentanyl and all that stuff. It's not all the zombies downtown. It's not all the crime. It's not the people that have been on bail 10 times in a row that are going back out into the community and committing murder, right? Or heinous crimes. It's not that stuff. No, our biggest threat is not China. It's not Russia. It's America. So all of our provinces, the leaders of every province, every premiers come together and going, oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, we got to stick it to Trump, right? We got to put our elbows up. We got to stick it to Trump. So Carney's whole shtick has been, well, we're going to unite everybody around the common enemy of America, of Trump. Except it's not working because under this unity of the somehow mutual hatred for America and Trump and all that, the boogeyman, there's supposed to be this big pipeline that's supposed to take place, right? You're supposed to have this massive Canada First pipeline that's supposed to get us off of American dependence. And so Canada could be a sovereign monarchy country. We're sovereign. We don't want to give up our sovereignty, right? Long live the king and queen. We're an independent country, right? Long live the king and queen. Okay. So this pipeline, is it being built? Is it not being built? What's going on? Alberta's for it. A lot of other provinces are for it. You know who's not for it? And one of the key players is British Columbia, because the pipeline has to go from Alberta to the ocean to be able to send it to somewhere other than America. But British Columbia doesn't want it. Let's have a look.
Should the West Coast tanker ban be reversed as part of a grand bargain to ship decarbonized oil through the north coast of British Columbia?
Well, I'll say this for Premier Smith from Alberta. She's an incredible advocate, because you would never guess that there is no private proponent, there is no money, there's no project, there's no support from First Nations along the coast. In fact, nobody's talked to them. And this project is non-existent except for in the political discourse. In British Columbia, we have tens of billions of dollars in projects with private proponents that are ready to go. They need a strong federal partner. And unfortunately, because of this continuing push for this pipeline that doesn't actually exist in any meaningful way, I'm concerned around projects that we actually have that are going ahead in our province. We just announced the Silisms project from the Niska, for example, that rely on the support of coastal First Nations, and that those projects may be put in jeopardy by that push.
Unity among Canadian officials and Canadian leaders means that they don't even believe that the projects that each other are creating are real. There is no pipeline, David Eby says. Why would I commit to something that doesn't exist? It's not a real thing. It's just publicity. Canada first, Canada united, right? Kind of crazy, because Carney's doing this big push to be somewhat pro oil and gas, kind of, sort of, right? I know he's got a book that debunks that, and he's all about climate change and all that stuff, but he's trying to brand himself as pro pipeline. It's not working. And that's why we're seeing a massive uprising of resentment within Albertans who just want to leave because they see this, right? Albertans have been getting the shit end of the stick for far too long. Every liberal leader that comes in, we're going to unite Canada. We're going to make sure that we can unleash oil and gas in Alberta so that we can make money and please the ant farm that the federal government views as Alberta, right? Because they don't view you as people. They view you as little ants, a battery farm, little working farm. And that's why you're seeing people ticked off that are just ready to go, ready to leave, ready for America to come in or ready for Alberta to separate or a combination of the both. And it's rising. That sentiment is rising in Alberta. It's rising in Quebec. It's rising all over the country because people are starting to see that the Liberal government can't actually do anything. But not to worry, because Canada is one of the most non-European countries, right? Mark Carney has all these ties to Europe. He has all these ties to the UK. So Canada must be getting some good deals with Europe and all that stuff, right? Wrong. You know who is? President Trump and America. That's who's getting the deals, not Mark Carney. President Trump is, though. Let's have a look.
An entrepreneurial spirit combined with British ideas and ingenuity. The UK is one of the world's largest economies. Maybe not quite on the scale of the United States, I concede, but my word, we punch above our weight. And we lead the world in expertise on quantum, on AI, life sciences, financial services, and more.
Well, I thought Canada led the world in those things. I thought Canada was the strongest economy in the G7.
In May, the United Kingdom became the first country to make a trade deal with the United States during my second term, and we sort of wanted to make it the first because the bond is so strong and the relationship so long. That agreement will create billions of dollars in opportunities for American farmers to sell their products into the UK, reduce barriers to trade, and give the U.S. manufacturers better access to the U.K.'s world-class aerospace supply chain, which is really is world-class. A lot of people think.
And then they sign it. Incredible to see, man. Canada needs to take note on that. Obviously, we want the best for Canada, but it's just hard to see this happening when Canada keeps trying to fight America, right? Every chance Canada gets is trying to put up a fight against Trump, against America, stick it to them. It's weird. It's very weird what Canada's doing.